In this video, we want to look at some conventions of MLA formatting and citation and talk about how these have changed with the recent introduction of the 8th edition of the MLA Handbook. First, MLA stands for Modern Language Association. It's the style guide used by most humanities disciplines, including English. That's why we use it in first-year writing courses. It governs how written work looks on the page and the way we indicate when ideas are not our original thoughts but came from somewhere else. The basic outlines of formatting as discussed in your book have not changed. You're expected to have 1-inch margins all around, your last name and the page number in the top right up here, in the header space of the document, a centered title, Times New Roman 12 point or similar font. You don't need a separate title page, but you do need what's called an MLA header on the first page of your paper in the top left here. It consists of your name, the professor's name, the course name, and the date. And notice that it's spelled out, not using slash marks. I think that's just lazy. I cover the mechanics of all of this in another video demonstrating how to use the free version of Word that you can access with your school login. Another thing that hasn't changed is what gets credit in your paper. You must indicate verbatim wording of an original source by placing that text in quotation marks or in a block quote. You must also credit ideas from others that you paraphrase in your own words. All this is discussed in your book and in the exercises about quotation, paraphrase, and summary. This is really not about plagiarism or cheating. It's about following the customs and conventions of the academic community, of which you're now a member by virtue of being enrolled in college. Not only is it professional courtesy, but it helps your ethos or credibility as a writer. The exception to this requirement is to give credit about giving credit to ideas in your own words is when the ideas are common knowledge. By common, we mean well-known or basic encyclopedia information anybody could easily Google. Dates of birth and death are good examples. Be aware, just because you knew it off the top of your head doesn't make it common. If your readers couldn't reasonably be expected to know it, help them out. Give them a place to read more. In either case, you have to give this credit in two different places. First, you have to do it within the text of your paper at the point where you use the idea or verbatim text. Second, you do it in what's called the Works Cited page at the end of your paper. You have to do them both. The in-text citation is just a short indicator, the name of the author or shortened title of an article if it has no named author. It might also include a page number if the information came from a book. On this slide, you can see 3 examples of verbatim text in quotation marks with their author in different color highlights. You see the one for Ira Glass and the information about that, part of which is in my own words and part isn't. You see the thing from Ray Bradbury and then the thing from Chris Beatty. On this slide, you see how to handle longer verbatim text. Over 4 lines gets what's called block or inset quotation format. The big difference is where the periods go. For a block quote, you put it before the parentheses. For a shorter quote with quotation marks, you put it after. You can see that in this slide here. Where the 42 is, that's a page number, and then the period goes after, not before. And the same thing with the one from Chris Beatty. The big thing that's changed is the format of the Works Cited entries. In the older MLA style discussed in your book, you had to figure out first what kind of source you were citing. Was it a printed book or a magazine? Was it a web article or a movie or a chapter from an anthology? And so on. There were at least 59 different types, and all of them required slightly different information. This website that I've got here on this slide was designed to create correct entries, but they weren't always correct. It was very confusing and frustrating for everyone. And it really didn't help with the main reason that you use this citation in the first place. You're giving a reader an easy way to look up cited source if he or she wants more information. As I've said, good citation practices are not really about keeping the plagiarism police off your back. They're about professional courtesy, helping fellow scholars trace your thinking and reading to better understand your arguments or to make new ones in response to yours. Here's an example of part of an old Works Cited page from a paper I wrote in 2014. I'll give you a minute to look at it here. And here are these same entries converted to the MLA 8 version. The new style is a lot simpler and the info is a lot more useful to the reader. The basic differences are you're mostly interested in the authors and titles and then showing what bigger sources these were contained in, a book or a database, an online journal perhaps. Those bigger sources are called containers and they help a reader find the smaller source you've cited. And where the previous version of MLA said the web links were optional, the new version says they're mandatory. And you should in fact look for permanent links or document IDs in a database to help your reader get back to your source. Now at this point, I'd like to go to a template document that I'm going to give you. As an aid to help you generate these new entries, I'm providing you a Word document that you can use to fill in the information you need to cite. It looks kind of like this, and basically you see there are things on here like the author's name, the title of the source, the title of these different containers. Sometimes there'll be more than one container, like the first container might be the magazine that it originally appeared in or some kind of journal, and the second container might be something like a database like Questia or EBSCOhost. And basically what you do is you fill in everything that you can in here, just as you would for the older style. You may not have all the information. Some things don't have a version number or anything like that. Some of these aren't really relevant, but you fill in everything you can. You put them in order using the punctuation you see after each element. You see there's a lot of commas here. There are periods at the end of containers, and there's a period after the author and the title of the source. And if I go back to that last slide and make this big for you, you can see kind of what I've done here. I've got the period after Zita Ingham's name. I've got her title of her article. I've got now a little bit more information than I had before, including the actual date when I looked it up. And then the fact it was in ERIC, which was one of the EBSCOhost databases. And then when I accessed it. And the same thing here with some of these others. Now the other thing that you want to do with your Works Cited page is make sure it's double spaced just as before. There are no lines skipped between entries or with the title, and you need to use a hanging indent. That's this thing here, where the first line sticks out and then all the others are indented in. There's a special thing in Word that helps you do this, and this is demonstrated in the OneDrive video that's also in your course. It's basically, hanging indent is just basically a regular indent that's backwards, and it makes it easier for you to see things that are in alphabetical order if you're looking at it. You can see it's easy to match it up with things that you found in the paper. Now during this transition year, you can still export older MLA citations like the one that was in here. Let me go back to it. Things that look more like this, that still say things like web here, and all of these things are print. You can still use these in this transition year. You're going to be turning these in as part of your research projects in modules 7, 8, and 9, and your instructor should be able to give you some feedback about how to convert these to these kind of things. I'll also provide some links in your course to help you answer questions. Let me show you a couple of those real quick. The first one I'm going to give you is Purdue OWL. Now Purdue OWL is a great resource for really anything writing related in college, but they do have a section on MLA. At the moment they haven't yet changed it to the MLA 8 edition, but that should be out later in June. As of this taping, it's obviously not here yet, but I'll give you this link and it will be good for you later. I also have some things from EasyBib. These are citation guides that have some answers to particular questions on how to format things in MLA 8 and kind of what the differences are. And finally, I'm going to give you the MLA Style Center. This is the Modern Language Association website. It has several things in here. It has some resources on formatting a research paper and on plagiarism and academic dishonesty that you can read about. You can go back up here to the top, and there is a place here under What's New. You can click here and you can actually look at this menu and see one of the things are we have some sample papers in MLA style that show different kinds of ways of handling particular issues in text. And finally, we have a quick guide, and the quick guide is here at the top. And basically it just walks you through understanding the template that I'm going to give you, how to identify different elements in your text and figure out how to put it into the template so that you can make your MLA citations in a way that's correct. Gives you several examples. So in addition to all these resources, of course, you can ask your instructor or your librarian for help. We're excited to be learning this along with you. I hope this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.